This week I wanted to bring you a cute DIY project, and I wanted to show you some options, but somewhere along the line of searching for things for you, I fell down a deep rabbit hole. So let me save you from going down that rabbit hole and talk to you about AI technology with crafting. Is this your new best craft buddy, or is this something to watch out for? Let's go. Hello, welcome back to the Crafty Organizer. If you are new, welcome. Thanks so much for checking out my channel. If you're returning, it is so nice to see you again. On this channel, I love bringing you ideas and tips for organizing, decluttering, doing DIYs, upcycles, and anything crafty. I was working on a special video for my patrons about my craft room. I'm working on making it work because it's a new space to me. It is significantly smaller and I'm having a hard time fitting all of my crafty interests into one small space. So if you share that type of sentiment, please leave me a comment below. But as I was finishing my back area, I wanted to do something springish, and I started looking at little tiered spring ideas. This was the inspiration, and I really thought it was cute. I found one for sale as is, but you know me. I want to craft something on my own. So as I started looking up ideas and getting overwhelmed with so many options on the internet, so I gave up, looked at Etsy, and realized a lot of these things are looking very similar to the AI images I'm seeing all over the internet and on Facebook. And that's when I decided to fall down the rabbit hole for you. So here's a little history on what AI generated graphics are. Around 2015, there were some significant advancements in AI technology. One of them you might be using right now, and that's auto captioning. So a computer is listening to what the spoken word is, and they're putting up those beautiful little captions that so many of us use. And while these computers were learning the algorithms for recognizing speech and words, they were also learning about images. Now, we've had the ability to search images for quite some time. The interweb, or the internet as we now know it, has been compiling data in the forms of stories, words, images, and some scientists got together and thought, if we can put up all of these data pictures with all of this data tag attached to it, can we do the reverse? Can we do a search by the words and have it come up with a picture? Now, this type of a search was a much more challenging task, but the goal was to not just retrieve existing images from Google, but to generate entirely new images. For example, if you did a search for a school bus, all of the images would probably come back as yellow because that is the common thing. But what if the text description asked for a pink and baby blue bus? Could they get a model to generate this image? Shockingly, they did. But the images were very pixelated and very small, definitely not anything that could be used. However, they have been continuing to advance this technology to where we are now. Now, this AI technology is limitless at this point, and it has so many beneficial options from the medical, science, technology, as far as architecting things, and even the simple things like crafting, which is what we're going to talk about today. And there is a whole different rabbit hole to go down about the negative sides of AI. We all have heard about deep fakes and pictures that aren't real, but they look so real. How can you dispute that what you're seeing isn't true? So that's a part of AI I'm not going to get into, but I want to talk about the highlighted features that we as crafters can use. There are now so many AI programs making it so much easier for people to use. Much like when Microsoft Windows first came out, we were operating on systems that were based on commands and line tech, which meant that only individuals that were really savvy in that type of language could use it. But when Windows came out, it came up with a graphical icon for pop-up windows, drop-down menus, and it completely changed how people used computers, meaning it was now accessible for everyone to use. And now it's all become so common for us, we probably don't even think about opening up a computer, clicking on an icon, opening up a program like Microsoft Word or Excel or Photoshop, and just choosing from the menus to create the document that we want. But it all started out as line tech. This AI technology is so similar in that it's simplifying the ways that we can use all of this data language and compile it for a use that fits our needs. I just went with the first few free programs that came up, like Night Cafe, Cryon, Starry Eye. There are some high-level programs out there that will get really niche and really funnel down into specific types of art that you want. And what I learned about playing with this is AI is much like a child. So if you were to be sitting across from a child and you had a barrier up and you were trying to get them to draw a picture that you had, you would have to be so very specific. Draw a red circle in the middle of the page. The chances that your size and the size that the child draws are going to be very different. And if you say draw a blue star next to it, well, next to it could be in all kinds of different areas. That's what I found AI to be. You have to be very specific, and they call those prompts, to get the image, or at least close to an image that you want. So to keep this simple, I put the exact same prompt in no matter which AI program I was using. And that prompt was cute black and white baby cow in a spring field with watercolor illustration. These first 4 programs could not be any different. The Cryon in the upper right corner, I'm not sure what's happening with the cow legs, but I definitely didn't see a spring field, but they were baby cows. The bottom right looks like a sticker, but there's no field, and it almost looks like a panda bear. The bottom left looks like a full-grown cow, but at least it is in a spring field. And the upper left is probably the closest to what I was looking for. But let's go into the next 4. These are when I think maybe my use of the programs started getting a little bit better after playing with them, but these yielded much closer results. So the upper left gave me older looking cows, definitely not the cute babies. The bottom left, definitely in a field of meadows, but it was more of a grown cow. The bottom right is definitely babies and in fields, so that one was cuter. And the upper right corner is more of a farmhouse look. So you could see how one prompt will yield so many different questions. And this brings up a point that I'm going to talk about in a minute, which is copyright ownership. How does it get covered? Can you sell these images? Who owns them? So hold on, I'm going to get to that. But let me show you the image that I thought was the best. Bing.com has Copilot, and when you put in this same description, I was getting consistent images that I really liked. These are definitely more cute, baby-style cows that are in a spring country setting. Now, even though I didn't have country in it, that was still the vibe I was still kind of secretly thinking of, and had I put it in, I probably would have gotten better results. But if you start looking on the internet, the amount of AI-generated art out there is overwhelming. If you ask for a Van Gogh picture style of clowns, it can generate it. If you want a hyper-realistic picture of a person, you can get it. So this can be used for things like when you're doing your decoupage and you want to print on a napkin, but you want a very specific image, you could use the AI to create the lavender flowers that you want. Or in the case of what I was making today, I wanted to replicate the tears for my little shelf. And I didn't want to go out and buy it because if you've ever watched me before, you know I'm going to change my mind about what I want on my shelves. But for right now, I wanted these little purple black and white buffalo check decor items. I'll probably change it to sunflowers and bees soon. This technology allows me to change this out. I can look for a specific thing, honeybees with sunflowers that are Mary Engelbreit style. It will give it to me and I can print it out, put it on foam core and change this out on a regular basis. Or if I'm working for some pictures that hang on the wall and I'm looking for something to cut with my Cricut, but there's a very specific shape I can't find. AI technology like this allows me to give a specific command prompt and have it generate something that I'm looking for. But I think the issue is going to become who owns this information, because when you enter a prompt like honeybees in a sunflower field, it's just going out and picking random bits of data and compiling it into an image. Oftentimes I would put the same prompt into an AI program and it would generate a different picture every time, which was great when I was trying to funnel down what I was looking for. But because it's different every time, who owns it? When I did a Google search on copywriting, it turns out that AI art is copyright free, meaning you cannot claim copyright over anything. So does that mean that you can use it and sell it? Currently, Etsy is allowing any type of AI generated art, which is what brought me down this rabbit hole to begin with, because as I was looking for images that I could buy and print to make my little tiered shelf with, I was noticing a lot of images that looked very similar to those that I've been seeing on Facebook. I've seen a lot of groups lately that are doing these AI graphics, and they're beautiful and they fit in with the style that I love. And they're not selling them, they're free to use, and this is why. So there's going to be a lot of gray areas out of here. And again, I'm not going to go down the rabbit hole of good heavens, what can come of all of this. But for the use of crafters, I think this is going to be an amazing tool if you are using it for your own personal use, for creating things that you love. I don't know the legalities of selling these things, but I did read an article where someone generated a print. They put it on a large canvas and they sold it for $4 million. That's got to be something that is questionable, but that's not for me to decide, but I'd love to know what you think about it. I know this was a different video today, but as I said, I really fell down a rabbit hole just because I wanted to create this little cute tiered tray. And I would love to know what your thoughts and opinions are on AI generated art. I think it's scary. I think it's intriguing. I think it's amazing. And the advancements and speed with which we're making those advancements, mind-blowing. So I can't wait to hear all of your feedback, thoughts. And if you have some different information, or if you've used this and you have some suggestions, please share them not only with me, but with your fellow commenters, because I think it could help us all to have a craft buddy in the room with us, making the art that we want, but don't have the talents for, or maybe you don't have the time to create it, or maybe you just don't have the resources. So let me know. Thank you so much for watching today. As always, thank you to my patrons. I have a new video coming out just for my patrons this weekend on a tour of this craft room and the struggles that I'm having. So if you're interested in joining my Patreon, that information is down in the description below, and I will see you guys in just a few days. Bye.